I'm going to share my screen. So reading from The Science of Psychic Healing by Yogi Ramacharaka, the mental attitude of the healer. The mental attitude of the healer. The suggestive healer should cultivate a mental attitude of earnestness. He should not be a trifler. He should have the best interests of the patient at heart, and in doing so, his own best interests will be served. He should act with a purpose and not scatter his efforts and life in petty non-essentials. We do not mean to indicate that the healer should follow a life of all work and no play. Quite the contrary. For we believe that work, play, and rest are equal necessities to the normal man. We do mean, however, that he should see his purpose and move accordingly. He should be concentrated in his work. A wandering attention and lack of concentration is fatal to good suggestive work. Not only do the suggestions fail to have the proper effect, but the patient subtly feels that something is lacking and he does not receive the proper vibrations. Use the will and hold the mind down to its work. He should have confidence in himself. And if this be lacking, he should build up that confidence by a practice of autosuggestion and affirmation. For unless one have confidence in himself, he cannot expect others to have it. Confidence is contagious, and so is lack of it. Remember that. Position of the patient. The patient should be placed in an easy, comfortable position. A reclining or Morris chair or a couch is the best thing to use in bringing about the easy condition of physical comfort. The patient should be taught to relax his muscles. The best way to teach same being to ask the patient to allow his hand to be limp, and then raising it, the healer should allow it to drop of its own weight to the chair, telling the patient to allow an equally relaxed condition to prevail all over the body. Use the suggestion. Now make yourself perfectly comfortable. Easy and comfortable, easy and comfortable. The suggestion acting not only to cause the physical ease and relaxation, but also the mental relaxation and withdrawal of tension from the nerves. The healer should either sit beside the patient on a low stool or else stand by his side or back of him. Use your own intuition in these matters, as there are no invariable rules necessary to be observed. Repetition. One of the axioms of suggestive therapeutics is that suggestions gain increased force by repetition. A constant repetition of the suggestions fastens it firmly upon the mind of the patient. Therefore, the healer should repeat the key word of the suggestion again and again, not so as to become monotonous, but in a different arrangement of words, remembering to bring the key word or principal suggestion into each new arrangement. Remember that planting a suggestion is like attacking a fort. It must be attacked from all sides. And so a repetition of the suggestion in different forms is important. In repeating the suggestion, let the key word ring out strong and vibrant. Surroundings. The treatment should be given so far as is possible amidst surroundings that do not tend to distract the patient attention from the suggestion. Endeavor to shut out all outside noises and sights so that the sense of hearing of the patient may be focused and concentrated upon the suggestions that are being given him or her. Pull down the blinds of the room so as to produce a state of semi-darkness or dusk. These things having a great psychological importance. Picturing the expected condition. In giving the suggestions, it is important to picture in the mind of the patient the desired condition. That is the condition that which you wish to bring about. Lead him up to it by degrees, picturing each process of the expected cure and winding up with a mental picture of him restored to health. In the general treatment given a little later on, you will see just what we mean. We mentioned it here that you may understand why the picture is given. Thought takes form in action, and the mind of the patient closely follows the picture. In treatment after treatment, unconsciously causes the physical to manifest the suggested thought picture. General remarks. There is no special magic in the words uttered by the suggestionist, and the whole virtue of the suggestive treatment lies in the thought behind the words. To the degree that this thought is taken and absorbed by the patient is the degree of the success of the treatment. Therefore, it follows that the degree of success lies in the degree of energy and earnestness that the healer puts into his thought, and the degree of earnestness and energy whereby the thought is conveyed by the words and otherwise from healer to patient. Of course, there is a constant mental or telepathic transmission of the thought, but the effect is heightened by the strong suggestive words of the healer, and the combination of the two is a powerful one. The patient's mind should be constantly directed to the conditions expected and hoped to be realized, and therefore this important rule. Never make any reference to the diseased condition during your suggestions, but always speak of the condition as you wish it to be. Lead the mind away from the present condition and place it upon the expected condition. You thereby place an ideal in the mind of the patient, which he will unconsciously endeavor to live up to. Do not neglect to observe the above rule, for it is most important. Make no negative suggestions or denials, but always make positive suggestions or affirmations. For instance, do not suggest you are not weak, etc., but on the contrary, suggest repeatedly you are strong. Do you see the difference? The reason lies in the fact that by repeating the word of the thing you would deny, you really affirm its existence and direct the mind of the patient to it. I'm going to pause here today on this chapter, and we'll start this chapter tomorrow, and we can start our breath work and meditation this morning. If anybody has any questions or wants to share something, you can unmute yourself now. All right, so as we move into our breath work, we have some options for how we want to get ourselves set up. You can be standing, you can be lying flat on the ground or on a bed or couch, or you can be seated. So some people, like myself, I like to prop myself up on a block. If you don't have blocks at home, something sturdy that you can get your hips above your knees. You might be sitting in a chair or at the edge of a couch. You want to get your feet flat on the floor. Sometimes it feels good to prop up on a bolster or couch cushions. You can put those on the floor too to get the hips above the knees. And if you want more support, you can always move toward the wall and lean the back against the wall. So the idea here is to get the spine straight so that the breath can flow. So whether you're doing that lying down, standing, or sitting, just checking in with the breath. I always have to like tuck my back a little bit because I really curve my back. Once you find your comfortable seat, something that will feel good to sit in for a little while, you'll scan the body from the crown of the head down to the toes just to start to notice what's going on. If the mind is still busy, just try to ignore it. Starting with the crown of the head, working your way down your face, relaxing the space around the eyes and your jaw. You might lift your shoulders up to your ears and then roll them back and down, sitting up a little taller, feeling the crown of the head reaching up while the sit bones melt down, so that there's a slight engagement in the core area. Relaxing the tongue, the fingers, the hips, the knees, the ankles, the toes. Making sure there's no pinching in the knees. Once you've done this body scan, bringing attention to the breath. So we're inhaling and exhaling through our nose. And immediately once I bring my attention to my breath, it becomes longer. So maybe you've noticed this too. And then checking in where you're breathing into. Some of us, this might feel like the upper chest. So when we breathe in, it stops here, the top of our chest, and then we let it go. Some of us, it might feel like the middle section by our ribs. We breathe in, we stop, and then we exhale. We want to try to manipulate the breath to breathe into our low belly. So we'll all take an inhale through the nose, nice and slow, and let it move down the upper chest, through the ribs, into the low belly. Expand the belly button out. And then exhale, pull the belly button down to the spine, letting the air move up the spine and out through the nose. So you'll work with whatever count works for you. You might inhale for 3 and out for 3, maybe 4, maybe it's longer. Just creating this even breath in and out. And this time of year, for me, the anxiety runs high. My mind is extra busy. Even when I want it to turn off, it doesn't turn off. And so what helps me is lengthening the exhale, double the inhale. So if I inhale for 3, I exhale nice and slow for 6. So maybe you try that, inhaling for 3, nice and deep into the low belly, and then exhale nice and slow for 6. If your eyes are closed, just keep watching the breath. Try to unattach yourself from the mind thoughts. Just watch the breath move in through the nose, down the spine into the low belly, and then exhale, breath moves up the spine, out through the nose. You might even notice the temperature as you inhale, feeling it cool on the nostrils. And then exhale, maybe it feels a little warmer coming out. If your eyes are open, try to fix it to one point. So find something that brings you joy in the room or wherever you are, whether it's a dot or an object, the sky if you're outside, or a flower. So you can stay with one of these 2 breaths, or nostril breathing evenly or exhaling double, or you can move into your alternate nostril breath. So you'll take your left hand and bring your pointer and thumb to touch. This hand will rest face up in your lap, and you'll take your right hand, your pointer and your middle finger will either fold into the palm, or you'll place it on the space between the eyebrows. This is alternate nostril breath, and it helps bring balance to the brain and then to the body. The right thumb will be used to close the right nostril, and the right ring finger will be used to close the left nostril. So there's no right or wrong. I prefer it in my palm, but some people prefer it on their third eye. So you'll take your hand set up, take a breath in through the nose and out through the nose. You'll take your right thumb to the right nostril and inhale through the left. Close the left with the ring finger. Release the thumb, exhale right. Inhale right. Close with the thumb. Release the left, exhale. Inhale through the left. Close it with the ring fingers, nice and slow. Release the thumb, exhale through the right. Inhale right. Close the right nostril with the thumb. Release the ring finger, exhale left. Inhale left. Close left, exhale right. Inhale right. Close right, exhale left. Inhale left. Close left, exhale right. Inhale right. Close right, exhale left. Inhale left. Close left, exhale right. Inhale right. Close right, exhale left. Inhale left. Close left, exhale right. Inhale right. Close right, exhale left. Release the palm down. If you want to continue a few more rounds, of course, that's available to you. Breathe evenly through both nostrils. And as we begin to set up for our meditation, for those of us that may feel new to meditation, I'll walk us through a few options. If you are ready to meditate, you will go for it. I'm going to set the timer now as I talk us through some options. So what we see on magazine covers is usually this shape of this Buddha statue sitting and meditating. For some of us, this might not feel comfortable yet, as our hips might feel tight or feel creaks in the body. We want to get the body comfortable. If the body's not comfortable, it's going to fidget. It's going to create chaos, more chaos in the mind. So we want to get into some sort of shape that is going to allow our body to feel comfortable, but not allow us to fall asleep. So some of us might feel good laying on a couch or a bed. Try to keep the mind awake that you don't fall asleep. If you're sitting somewhere, try to keep both feet flat on the floor. Try not to cross the arms or the legs. I like to try to keep my spine as straight as possible to help keep the breath flowing, because I use the breath as a tool to keep my mind focused on one point. So this meditation practice for me really becomes a concentration practice. It's like a step below the meditation. I got to do a lot more concentration practice before I can glide into that nice meditative state where my mind doesn't control me. So practicing one-pointedness is a really helpful tool for me. And the way I do that is through a variety of options. So I can watch my breath like we just did through our breath work. If you work with a mantra or affirmation, I am calm, I am happy, I am healthy. You can work with the mantra or affirmation. Sometimes a visual image helps, like watching. You can visualize your happy place, whatever that looks like for you. And then every time we set our intention for a meditation and which one-pointed tool we want to use for that morning or that day, every time your mind starts going, you remember the tool and you pull it back and you come back into the present moment. And that becomes the practice. The practice doesn't become clearing the mind. The practice becomes focusing on that one point and ignoring the mind. Sometimes a chant song helps. I can put one in the chat if anybody wants to listen to a chant song. You can play with different options as you begin to, you pick one today, and then as you begin to meditate each day, you can work with different options, and each day may encourage a different tool to be used. You could also just take like an object. I have this meditative rock, this mandala rock, and just place it. So if you have something, if you're sitting in a place that you can just grab, whether maybe it could be anything, a napkin, and just put it down somewhere and just work on watching it. And if you're working with the affirmation or mantra and your mind starts going, inhale the I am and exhale the words. You can inhale I am, exhale calm, or whatever it is. Inhale I am, exhale word. So I'm going to mute myself. If anyone has any questions, you can feel free to unmute and you can slide into your meditation. bringing your hands together in front of your heart. Namaste. I hope everybody has a beautiful day.